Our COVID cases were quite low. Other places not quite. So what we've been doing here is we've been religiously wearing our masks when we need to go to work, when we need to take transport, when we need to go anywhere. What we wanted to do is make it so masks are more accessible. A lot of businesses, you go shopping, you probably see people handing out masks, things like that. Those people are frontline workers, they're right in harm's way. It'll look better for everybody if you just have a machine that's capable of doing that. You can set this up to be monetary as well. The machine, depending on your consumer flow, will pretty much pay for itself and then start trying to profit within a few months, depending on what your consumer flow is like. Or, as well, it's just going to be a great thing for the workplace. You come in, you have a mask, you know that everything's going to be safe and sanitized, and things like that. So, we have that set up for that. Another thing, pair it up with the bank with two things, so a portion of all the sales you can bring to that as well. Right on time.
All right, that's fine. Here we go. All right. So, excellent job on the credibility. Presentation with the product behind you is a great idea. So whenever we can get a good feeling for what you're doing and how you're doing it, I think the explanation is great. The emotional attachment, right? I love the fact that you're about helping people, having fun with it, a variety of different ways. One of the things that Sean did extremely well, Sean, is you as an entrepreneur. I love the fact that a lot of people during these types of compressed times of uncertainty, accelerated change, you immediately try to fill a need and utilize your capabilities with what's doing well today, what may be stabilized today, but even what will do well in the future. Now, where can we improve? There is no quantified analysis, right? So if we're pitching something, I didn't hear, a quantified reason why I should invest, or if he needed investment, or what he needed, or why. And there's 23 leftover seconds. Unbelievably enough, even on the TV show Elevator Pitch that I do, over 50% of the people pitching forget one of the key components, to ask. Right? What do you want? What are the quantified, Sean, reasons I should invest? You talked about the impact, right? I love the employee consumer impact that it has, helping the relief fund. Those were great. The capabilities were explained extraordinarily well of what the machine can do, why it's touchless, why people will have and do have and will need masks in the future. But the key component is, what if I told you right now, hey man, I'm in, right? I have no idea what percentage of what I'm in on or what you're asking for, because you could tell me right now, Dave, you can own 100% of the company for $1, or I can own 1% of the company for $1 million. I don't have the numbers, right? Remember, people want to invest, or they want to participate on a 120 value equation, meaning, hey, can you see any reason, Dave, you want to move forward with X? So excellent presentation, way to use the product, great credibility as an entrepreneur. I love the way you lean into the problems that exist. Emotional attachment, A+, but you missed the big component of an ask. All right, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Sean, I appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna go to our next contestant. As we get to the 2-minute drill, you see how it works. Jag, welcome to the
Hey Dave.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
All right, I'm gonna give you a point and you're gonna get going. Any questions for me?
Nope.
All right, here we go. 2 minutes to make your pitch.
Hi, my name is Jag Gill. I'm from San Luis Obispo, California. 45 years old, serial entrepreneur. The company I'd like to share with you guys today is Latrine, private luxury bathrooms, especially in these times of COVID now. With the uncertainty of cleanliness, there are no public bathrooms available. Everything's shut down from Starbucks to gas stations. What we would like to provide is a branded facility you can get used to, placed everywhere like modern day coffee shops. A private place with dignity, with cleanliness, with safety, all run from your app. You can purchase products there as far as taking showers, shaving, changing tables for children, handicap, special needs. So we'd like to provide a branded bathroom service for the world. And my ask today is relationships. Help drive this thing, opening doors. We're kind of not to the stage of funding. I've been getting this far myself so far, But when we get to that point, we'll be raising money. But at this point, we want to do strategic relationships and help drive this thing. Thank you.
All right. Looking at a little bit of leftover time as well. So, Jack, the credibility side, fine. The explanation of luxury latrines. I'd like to see you explain the business model. I know just from my own personal experience, especially as we have a little bit of extra time, that the only place that people can really use bathrooms right now publicly seems to be grocery stores, right? There's such a need to have a safe, clean, and here if you have luxury, even better. And where does that business model fit in? Even though you ask for relationships, which specific relationships do you want, right? I probably am blessed to have 1 degree of separation from so many different people in the world, and I don't know who I can introduce you to. Do you want to meet my mom? Do you want to meet a distributor of toilet paper? Do you want to meet hand sanitizer companies? I have no idea. If we're pitching, we should be practicing, Jack, to make sure that number one, you're using all 2 minutes. You can't over explain things to me in 2 minutes. There's probably so many more things you wish you would have said. In fact, if I ask you right now, what's one thing that you forgot to tell me that you'd like to tell me?
Well, it is the fact that our business model, it's a membership base, and we charge by usage and selling products at the facilities.
Perfect. How much would they charge us, for example?
For a membership?
Yeah, sorry.
You're looking at an annual $100, and then as you go usage each time.
Good. Okay, you can see by this pitch, right? Now the business starts developing differently, because if you're going to sell a membership, then it comes up with the questions like, how many different latrines would you need? How do you roll this out regionally, locally, nationally? Are you looking to partner with a major brand? For example, Charmin, I know the toilet paper company at huge events already have luxury facilities that they've been giving to those events for years to promote their toilet paper. Are there some channel partnerships in interesting situations that you could get into there? You can see that we need to answer those questions, because the number one thing in not only you as an entrepreneur, but your business is credibility. And the minute we start getting lost into the void, shortages, and obstacles, our mind starts asking more and more questions about why we should move forward instead of why we should. Great example of what to do, as well as some great areas that we can improve on. I appreciate it, Jack. Thank you so much, and look forward to the next contestant.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. You can see there's so much that you need to do within 2 minutes. And as we get to the next contestant, we'll keep on learning more. The one thing you'll learn through these 10 people, I'll predict already, is that you cannot practice enough. You cannot practice enough. So make sure that you're going through this, you're answering other questions, you're practicing in front of family, friends, mirror, you're videotaping it as many times as you can in that 2 minutes. We want to make sure that we cover everything from credibility, emotional attachment, quantified reasons, impacts, and capabilities to come to a logical conclusion with an ask of, can you see any reason you won't want to move forward with making introductions to toilet paper companies or whatever it may be. All right, I'm ready for the next pitch. Here we go. Who do we got on deck? Angela, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for coming. You ready for your 2 minutes?
Yes, I am.
All right, when I give you the point, you're going to get going. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's hear your pitch, Angela.
Hello, my name is Angela Han, and I'm so grateful and happy to be here. I'm also a healthcare lawyer, a health coach, and a founder of the Fit to Practice Society, which I'm here to pitch for. So the Fit to Practice Society is a membership for lawyers who are busy and burnt out to click into Zoom with me 4 times a week for effective and quick workouts that require little to no equipment. But this is more than just a membership. It's a community of lawyers across the country who are able to connect meaningfully through this task-based networking activity, which is more important now than ever as the pandemic has drastically limited our working opportunities. And I started this after I was able to overcome my own mental health challenges, my 7 years of bulimia, through efficient workouts that made me feel physically stronger and ultimately mentally stronger. Now, I had a successful beta launch in May with a 20% conversion rate for a lifetime membership of $197, and I'm currently in the middle of another launch this week for a monthly membership of $47. The conversion rate is at around 80% so far, and I'm so thankful to be serving each and every member of the society, even at its beginning stages right now. Now, the question I have today for you is on scalability. I've used Facebook ads before, and I have never gotten such hateful and negative comments directed at lawyers, saying that lawyers are evil and that they do not deserve health and wellness. So I would love to get your feedback on how I can scale this perceived, despite this perceived limitation, that the typical way of scaling, i.e. Facebook ad, may not work for me, despite what has happened so far. And that's what I would love to get your feedback on.
Perfect. All right. So, in the pitch, I love that's a very specific act, and let me kind of get to that answer for you as well. Because you do have a very successful start, you need to look at three different things of what you're trying to convey. You cannot worry about other people, first of all. Right? People will laugh at you, scoff at you, make fun of you. All the biggest and greatest businesses were put down at the very beginning. And that's even without having lawyers involved. So as a recovering lawyer, I understand the resistance that people have. But there's three things I want you to focus in on. Number one is the strength of your message, right? Utilizing the emotional impact of your personal experience with bulimia is great. And specifically, if you can get into some of the emotional aspects of being a lawyer and how they're comparable to being a bulimic and what type of mental stress or abilities and disabilities that occur for lawyers, especially during this compressed time of uncertainty. The most important thing to focus in on is spectrum. Because if you're getting a lot of negative feedback, there's no reason with the extraordinary amount of lawyers that exist in America alone that you should be advertising specifically to the audience that you serve. You know, it's obvious that people don't like lawyers as a general mass sentiment, but there are millions of lawyers. And what you need to do is be more interested than interesting and find a better way to address that strength of signal to the lawyers, whether it's working with the Bar Association, working with the Lawyers Guild, or whatever other organizations that you may find with the law schools themselves. So getting in early and then building a relationship as they graduate. I'm sure that law students have equal amount of stresses as lawyers as well, since I was one, may even be more. But making sure that strength of signal is going to the spectrum that you want, and make sure your message is clear. So one of the things that will stop the haters and the negative sentiment is if you are clearly indicating and articulating the value that you're providing. Right? When you become completely vulnerable with what you're doing, you then become invulnerable to the haters and to the commenters, etc. And so what I want you to do is focus in on those three things. Don't be afraid to test them. But it sounds like the biggest problem is that your signal is strong, you're getting a great conversion, but you need to address a better spectrum of lawyers specifically, and then have a clearer message to indicate what the reasons, impacts, and capabilities are. And specifically, I think you will find even greater success. But everyone out there, especially if you're starting out, do not listen to the naysayers. Vote for what you want. Vote for the superpowers that you have. Stay consistent, persistent in the pursuit of that potential, and you will make it, I promise. Great pitch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. Perfect. All right. So far, so well. Here on the 2-minute competition. Remember, anybody, if you want to apply for August 28th, go ahead, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Still can get my book for free. The pitch guide, everyone. Pitch guide is available for free at those same. And remember, we're going to be taking Q&A, Brian, Lagasty, and I. So make sure you put your questions in the Q&A down below. All right, here we go. Next up on the 2-minute drill. And we're looking for, here we go. In this great environment. Oh, there he is. Faraz, how are you? What a great smile.
I'm good.
All right, my friend, you got 2 minutes to give me your great pitch. You start when I point at you.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Can we reset the 2-minute clock?
Yeah, that sounds fair. Let's go.
All right, we're going to set the clock. getting ready to go. As soon as we're ready here on our stage,
He's waiting for you.
here we go. All right, on your marks, get set, go.
Hi David, I'm Faraz, the founder of One Gill. My journey from hating art to falling in love with it allowed me to discover a huge problem millions of artists and even managers are facing around the globe. And it's that both of these parties don't have an effective and easy way to book themselves. There is a constant plethora of emails and phone calls that keep flying back and forth. But what if the artists and event managers were able to confirm a booking with just a click? Hence the idea of One Gill was born. One Gill, the SaaS enables a marketplace that connects artists with event managers, making it easy to host events and book talents. Moreover, we are also aiming to automate the whole talent logistics, like booking cab for talent to the venue and booking a stay for the talent by partnering up with companies like Uber and Airbnb. We have been working on this app for past 2 months, and we have launched a Google form to register our first 100 interest users to test out our beta. In a couple of hours, thousands applied, and interestingly, these people include artists who have worked with Wiz Khalifa, event managers of big festivals like Sunford and Weekender Shillong, which are basically the Coachellas of India, also event managers of huge corporate companies and international artists who have applied, showing huge need in the market. So today, me and my team at One Gill are asking you for an initial investment of $300K USD for 20% and your mentorship to help us scale, and also allow us to leverage your network capital to impact millions of lives around the globe and create a dent in $1.1 trillion industry. Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, once again, I would prefer to see someone utilized all the time, right? If you haven't utilized all the time, it just indicates to me that we haven't practiced all the things that we want to say enough times, because we should be ending within seconds of the 2 minutes. Moral valuation. Faraz, how did you come up with the valuation that you have?
On that input, on the word for
I didn't just number right for right now because it's still early stage, so.
Okay, pretty typical, by the way. So you have to be prepared to answer questions that will add to your credibility. And I appreciate the honesty, because that does add to your credibility. But if you're asking someone for $300,000, you better be more than prepared to tell them why. You better be more than prepared to reassure them that that investment has that 120 value indication to it. That if you invest $300,000 today without any uncertainty, or here are the uncertainties that we have, statistically, this is what you are going to get as a return on investment. Here's our plan. It's a safe note, whatever, because all you're doing is exposing credible inexperience. And you would have been better off, in my opinion, of asking for an initial investment on a note, maybe without a valuation, with $1 million cap, at a 20% discount to market, and your initial, since it's initial, asking for up to $500,000 on a note in order to draw in my experience, relationship capital. One of the other things when we're talking about apps, and a lot of people have apps that have great interest, and this is one of them that I'm sitting here, as you know, the great value of what you're talking about is that you're able to very quickly in a beta just guide interests of the biggest names in artists and management and venues, and corporations, by the way. And that was really impressive. The problem is I have no indication on how much money it's going to take to launch the app, market the app, execute on the app, everything that the app functionality-wise, how the matching works. All of these things, or some of them, with the extra minutes, seconds that you had, could have been answered or at least addressed in some way or another. And so what I want people to do is really think through what they want, why they want it, what step or stage they are in the business, and then be able to effectively ask for something that will move forward the venture from where it's at. It will add to the credibility, add to the excitement of the interest that you have. Because remember, the golden rule of this pitch is there may be a million great ideas out there, but taking it to market's the real trick. So let's work on explaining how to take it to market, what value to give it, what the next steps are, and you are well on your way. Great start though, I appreciate you coming on 2 Minute Drill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David.
Awesome. All right, we're learning lessons. Remember, pain is just an indicator. Mental, physical, spiritual, financial, emotional pain. Even if I'm giving it, it's still just an indicator that you have lessons to learn. I'm just a turn signal telling you to change directions. Better directions exist, better situations exist. Let's see the next pitch here on 2-Minute Drill. Hey Jeff, how are you? I'm doing very well. Can you turn up your volume for a second? I just want to test that real quick. There we go. Awesome, I got you there. All right, so we got two.
Media mash tech, right?
Okay.
There we go. Two. You got the background sound going. There we go. All right, we good, Jeff?
Wrong caller.
You're a little bit low. There's something I can do real quick.
They're not getting him.
We're not getting you. I can lightly hear it. All right, Jeff, just thank you everyone for 1 minute. We are experiencing a little technical difficulty. You can either go to the next person or come back to him. What do you want to do on the 2-minute drill? Thank you for your patience. We're working on it. Anyway, make sure you put your Q&A in about what we're doing, how we're doing it, as well as, remember, free pitch guide exercise. Text me 949-298-2905. David at themeltzer.com. Put your questions into the Q&A. Brian and I are going to get to them as we get to the break. I think we're going to move to the next person.
Next caller will come back.
Next caller will come back. Just like at home. Here we go. Donna.
Okay, what was that previous?
Hi, David.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. You ready for your 2 minutes?
I am.
All right. On my indication, you're going to get going. Here we go. Let's hear your 2-minute pitch.
Okay. I'm Donna Valeria, Chief Marketing Officer at Media Mash. Thank you for having me. Have you ever clicked on a link to go to a video, say from a motivational speaker you follow, and it takes you to YouTube? Then 45 minutes later, you're watching a woman teach her dog sign language, and you're like, how did I even get here in the first place? Totally taken off task. Well, Media Mash is disrupting YouTube, which has no other competition. 5G, the pandemic, and work from home have made Zoom, YouTube, and Netflix household names. At Media Mash, we've taken the best features of each one of those and mashed them together into one hybrid software platform. Have you noticed headlines today where Kim K is getting 100K for an Instagram post? YouTubers are being shut down and losing their whole revenue streams? Well, relying on social networks gives you and your company no control. At Media Mash, we're giving you back control. We're letting you create content by taking web meetings and recording or live streaming them. You can distribute your video to both your social channels, and more importantly, we give you a video player right for your own website. You can collaborate with your customers on our platform and coworkers right in that web conferencing tool. We give you the availability to monetize your video, not be monopolized by YouTube, and have advertisers want to reach your audience and pay you instead of getting the pennies you get from YouTube. You can analyze your audience, get deep viewer analytics, sentiment data, and you can act on that data immediately. We give you dynamically indexable content from all your videos so you can drive even more traffic to your website. Media Mash gives you back the control of your video content, and it gives you consistent revenue streams on top of that. Right now, we're launching our new corporate client C-Suite networks with a white labeled version of the software, and next month, and that one client will give us over 15K in MMR. We are also launching 2 amazing niche channels of our very own. An esports channel with a global Fortnite tournament, and a pet channel with a large dog rescue who has a national audience and many celebrity clients. Are we getting feedback?
Yeah, we're off the 2 minutes. Okay, good. So,
okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Number one, it's okay to read, especially in the virtual environment if you're pitching, because for me, I would take advantage of whatever setting I had when I was pitching. So if I'm pitching live, and I need to have certain keynotes or notes, I may have my laptop in front of me. On stage, I may have some keys, etc. Here, I think it's okay but you may want to work on not reading directly down and being able to look up and use it as a guide, not as a complete crutch. So that'll be one thing as far as the pitch went. I have one quick question about, something like this. How do you drive traffic? Because obviously all of those features and benefits are terrific, but if there's no audience, that's why people get pennies on the dollars with YouTube, because they have such a huge audience, and 100% of nothing is nothing. And I see so many different kind of media mass platforms out there that have great capabilities, but they only exist in a vacuum. Where and how do you get a bigger audience so that you can actually gain revenue from utilizing the platform?
Yeah, so you do need to have an audience in order to utilize the platform. If you don't, you can still live stream to all your social networks. So if you have a large social following, you can bring them back to your website. But it really is for people who are ready to have an audience and are ready to monetize that audience.
Perfect. So, I know we ran out of time, but those are the type of details that can set off a pitch when, we don't indicate them early on. So one of the things that I would do is specifically address the audience, the spectrum. It's kind of like Angela who said, my spectrum is lawyers. Then I can instantly say, okay, here's a problem with, your technique or business model according to addressing lawyers. For you, right, you want people who already have followers. And that's how you were able to get, for example, some of your first customers, which have a profitability, and that was of interest and great interest to stimulate my interest to understand. The other side of it is the ask, right? I'm very intrigued by the platform. I'm intrigued, of course, by the success that you've had in some of the larger scalable opportunities, but the ask, right? We want to make sure, I love a pitch that starts with an ask. It says, my name is Don Valario. I am the CEO of so-and-so. What I'm looking for is, and then describe, I don't mind that at all, or at least at the very end, utilizing, hey, can you see any reason from what I've told you today about the credibility of what we're doing, the emotional attachment, the quantified reasons and impacts and capabilities, can you see a reason you would want to invest this, or introduce this, or be on my board of advisors? So that should be your gentle, value-justified ask at the end. Does that sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Thank you for joining 2 Minute Drill. I look forward to talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. More great lessons, more great pitches. We're going to go back to Jeff. I know we got his volume fixed, so nothing like the COVID technology.
I know, right?
And that beautiful white sheet behind you, we're wasting it. It's good to hear you, Jeff. How are you?
Yes, I'm great, David. How are you?
I'm great. All right, you're going to get 2 minutes. When I point at you, begin, okay?
All right.
All right, it's on you. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I am grateful to be here today because I am excited to share with you Slope Grading, golf's first wearable green reading system, comprised of this sensor and an iOS app. How it works is that you place the sensor on your midsection, then you calibrate the sensor based on how you would naturally stand on a level surface, and then, as you stand along your putt line, the sensor uses physics and geometry to calculate a putting model in real time that is then displayed back on your iOS device. For any putt that you have, you will know instantly where you need to aim, left or right of the hole, in inches or in feet. Now, why is this important? Well, let me tell you, I have played a lot of golf in my life, and I cannot tell you how many strokes I've seen lost around the green. And I want to do something about that. Instructors can use Slope Grade with their students to help accelerate their learning curve when it comes to reading greens. For the amateur, professional, or caddy, they can also use Slope Grade to not only sharpen their own green reading skills, but to also use it as a preparation tool when playing in tournaments. For example, they can go out and play practice rounds and get all the slope information that they need for all the marked pins of the event. Our mission with Slope Grade is simple. We want to increase the enjoyment of the game for all those who play it, and most importantly, provide solutions that create meaningful moments for all golfers everywhere. With the golf technology industry rapidly evolving and growing, collaborating with your team not only gets us an early stake in the game, but also your organization, $1 to $5 per unit sold, but of course, this is always negotiable. I already have slope grade in market right now, but now I am asking for help to help grow it further. Thank you.
Perfect timing. That takes practice to end right on 2 minutes. So once again, adding to the credibility. Very great explanation of the features and benefits, the emotional attachment. I myself, I know, utilizing caddies, I've sat there. I remember one time in Jamaica, and my caddy was in his 70s. He'd been at the Trial Country Club for years, and he's telling me to aim 2 feet above the hole. And if I was there by myself, I'd have been 2 feet below the hole. And I trusted him, and it made a huge difference. And I think a lot of amateur and professional golfers see the need for it. I would like to see less of the features and benefit in the 2 minutes and more of the construct of the business. Where is it distributed? What retailers are you already in? Where's the margins, etc. I know the ask is good. I get it. You want a performance-based ask of, my team and me to be able to get distribution for the product between $1 and $5. Performance on each of those units determined upon a negotiation or conversation of value. That's fine. But I would like to see more quantitative analysis of here's how many doors that we're in. Here with COVID, for example, this is how many golf courses are open, this is how many pro shops are open. It's an excellent opportunity even now to accelerate the business because golf is one of the few activities that are allowed in single car or walking, etc. And here, maybe because of social distancing, we can't share it. There's a variety of things that you could have went through quantitatively that would give me more security and more stimulation of, hey, I want to get involved with this for a performance base. If in that performance there was equity as well, you may have wanted to mention that structure if there's any type of offer for equity. I'm really looking at, in this one, the most polished as far as practice. You nailed it on a great presentation that covered what you wanted to cover. There will be no perfect pitch, especially at this stage, but I think if you would have nailed the doors, the distribution, the monetary side of it, it would have been really close to one of the best that we've seen, and appreciate what you're doing. Look forward to learning more on slope grade. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
You got it. Good job. All right. Well worth the wait. Well worth listening to. All types of great ideas, all different industries, backdrops, etc. You can see where people fill a need, and we just got to get really good at articulating the quantitative value in how we want to move forward. All right, let's move on to our next pitch. Albert, welcome to 2 Minute Drill.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. You got 2 minutes to pitch your idea. When I point at you, which is probably rude, time to get started. Does that sound fair?
That's perfect, let's do it.
All right, man. I'm ready to hear your pitch.
Thank you. So my name is Albert. I'm the founder of MetricBlock, and we're asking for $30,000 and 7% equity in our company. And really what MetricBlock is we're a biometric security company, and we are trying to provide safety and protection for consumer valuables. The reason why I actually started MetricBlock was because last year in 2019, when I went to Mexico City, I was actually really excited. It was my first international trip. And when I got there, I got from the airport to the hotel, and I noticed that my bag on the side was actually open. When I opened the bag, my necklace that my mom got me for Christmas was stolen. And so that really could have been prevented with one of our padlocks. And so this is what it is. It's a biometric fingerprint fingerprint scanner. And it's really simple. You just lock something and then you unlock. And it unlocks and you can lock it again. There's no keys, there's no codes, you don't really have to remember anything. You don't lose your finger, you bring that everywhere with you. And so it's pretty neat and it's convenient as well. And it protects your stuff. The small industry is actually expected to grow. In 2019, there was $1.67 billion in revenue, and that's expected to grow to over $2.5 billion by the end of 2023. And that's actually from Statista.com. And we're finding is that there's a lot of theft. According to the FBI, there's over 7 million thefts that were reported in 2018 alone. And so we're really trying to eradicate that. And so our ideal clients are going to be athletes, students, travelers. Athletes have access to their bags, they have their belongings, lockers. Students have access to lockers. They want to protect their valuables, and then obviously travelers, in my case. And so what's next for us, what we use that money for, is for larger marketing campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and athlete sponsorship. And so our question for you is, how safe are you?
Nice. Once again, well rehearsed in practice. Like every other pitch, a few places and holes that I like to say. I love the start of this pitch, right? I love the start of this pitch with the $30,000 for 7%. Understanding more details on that would have been nice, right? So remember, if you're going to make an ask, a monetary ask, let people know where you came up with the valuation, right? Here's how many sales we have. Here's the margins of what we have. Here's how many kids, one of the big spaces is lockers, right? And, as we get to post-vaccine, lockers will once again at schools, at gyms, at country clubs, as well as baggage. And those numbers, the credibility though, Albert, was excellent. Meaning, I love that you not only gave statistics, but told me where they came from, right? And explained that. That was excellent. Very few people start off with the ask. Very few people give those details of where they got their statistics, because in my realm, 99% of all statistics are made up. That's the only statistic I know to be true. Besides 100% of all short putts don't go in, and 100% of the things you do now get done. Getting into a little bit of a training methodology. But I think if you work through these numbers, right? The other thing you did really well, whenever you can integrate the product, just like the mass vending machine, that was an impactful emotional moment in the pitch when you put your finger on the lock and it opened up and you showed how powerful and easy it is to use. My mind was going and imagining how many other places I would use it because of the convenience, and how many times I don't use a lock because I'm afraid of losing that little key or forgetting the combination, right? How many of us, and I think explaining that in your pitch would be helpful for everyone as well, to be able to say, hey, how many times have you got in a lock and would have used the lock on baggage, on a locker, on something, if you could, one, remember where the key is, or two, remember the combination. What about bikes? What about motorized scooters? What about all these others? You talked about 7 million deaths. I think really hammering home the business model, because I really like the business. I like the ask. I'd like to know how you came up with those numbers, 30,000 for 7%, which is fine. The good news is you stimulated enough interest in the pitch in order for someone to ask these questions. You were well prepared, well practiced, and you utilized that. So I think there's a few areas to work on to get to that articulation of, hey Dave, can you see any reason you want to move forward? But you got partially there and had a really good pitch. So thank you so much for that effort.
Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. All right, moving right along. Here we go. We, believe it or not, we're on our 8th pitch already. Don't forget, add your questions for Brian and I into the Q&A section. We are available. Don't forget, you can email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Text me at 949-298-2905. I will give you the perfect pitch guide that will also review all of these. The replay, of course, is on the playbook every Monday. You can reach it on YouTube. You want to go back, look at some of these pitches, see how and compare yourself to what they're doing and some of the key components of successful pitches. Let's get to number 8 here. Ryan, what's going on, my friend?
How's it going, David?
Good, good. Are you as nervous as I am?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, when I point at you, you're going to start your 2-minute drill. Does that sound cool?
Perfect.
All right, let's get started with the 2-minute drill.
All right, good morning, David, and thank you. My name is Ryan Higginson, and I'm owner and operator of RMI Inspections. We provide virtual video chat vehicle inspections for rideshare drivers. You see, once a year, every rideshare driver has to get the vehicle inspected to ensure the vehicle's aesthetic well-being, as well as properly functioning safety features, such as lights, seat belts, and things of this sort. To do this, you have to set up an appointment with the Uber Inspection Hub, or in this case, Traveling Pop-Up Tents. The inspection process averages about an hour to complete, which results in driving which results in loss of driving time, gas to get to and from the hub, as well as money. The only alternative is a mechanic shop, which we all know can be a hassle and a frustrating experience. This got me thinking, how could I improve the process? Because if I dislike it so much, then every other rideshare driver must as well. With our service, we can provide a virtual video chat vehicle inspections in 15 minutes from the comfort of the driver's driveway when they're ready and on their time, not the other way around. Now, with COVID-19 hitting the rideshare industry hard, Uber and Lyft have had to lay off thousands of employees and close 50% of their inspection hubs. This opens up a huge opportunity to provide our service as a new solution for rideshare drivers. We charge $19 for a single inspection and $25 for a combined inspection of both Uber and Lyft. With 3.5 million Uber drivers and 2.5 million Lyft drivers in the United States, the market is extensive and scalable. With little overhead and attractive operating margins, our growth is only limited by our marketing capabilities as well as our manpower. We launched in October 2019 and to date have completed 88 inspections. With your private coaching, we are ready to grow. Thank you so much.
Wow. Really good pitch. I hope too that you have somewhere, one of the tricks of the trade to use the platform that you have. And as we're leveraging this 30 experience here and seeing all these different tricks, you can imagine when you're pitching to set up little notes or side things that you can use. So to keep it smooth, to keep you confident, to keep you on time. And I thought you utilized that really well in the competition. What a great business model, right? He explained the business issue. I think he could have enhanced saying that, during COVID, this addresses, but imagine when, we have this post-vaccine era that will occur. Imagine the growth and potential of finding a better way to do something that needs to be done. And don't be afraid when you're giving a pitch to simplify things to its core. And I think people make that mistake. They get so down deep because they're so close to their business that they don't elevate up into a simple definition of what we do. Hey, what we're providing is something that is being done and will be done, and we have a better way of doing it. Inspecting Uber and Lyft cars. And I thought you did an excellent job of describing how it's done and how you can do it. You gave the pricing with the 88 vehicles. Now the interesting thing about the 88 inspections is the way that you were describing it, I anticipated way more inspections to be done. So now I know the critical business issue, which you could have illuminated and said, look, our critical business issue is scaliness. We've only done, and so you see the difference in the energy. We've only done 88 inspections, and you can see we could be doing 88,000 of these. And I love the ask, right? You know the stage of your business, where you're at, what you need. To ask for that coaching instead of money, instead of whatever else it is, really was a positive for this as well. I think in the details though too, it wasn't clearly indicated to me, who's on the other side, or is it just an app, right? What is needed for that $25 to inspect? Because obviously they're going to two different places. Is it all automated, or is somebody receiving the data and sending it? I think understanding where it is would have been another great thing that you could have included in there. Otherwise, I think the credibility, the ask, and the description and explanation are all aligned, and all in all, it was a really good pitch in this great platform. So thank you so much.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate it.
You got it, Ryan. Good job. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Next up, number 9. Let's see what we got here. Our next 2-minute drill. Anna, how are you?
Hey David, how's it going?
Really, really well. I appreciate you joining us here on the 2-minute drill. Hopefully you're as excited as I am.
I'm excited and nervous.
What do you think of this new platform compared to our typical Zoom?
I am getting a little bit of feedback, so I'm just going to leave Zoom. Okay, there we go.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to give you 2 minutes in the 2-minute drill to do your pitch. When I point at you, get going, okay?
Got it.
All right, let's begin the 2-minute drill.
Hi there, I'm Anna Weltman from Chopper Firms Consulting. Thank you so much, David and your team, for having this opportunity. It's an amazing opportunity for us all. Have you ever had a kid or a young person gladly do their homework without any asking from their parents or their coach or their teacher? Well, usually it doesn't happen, but I think it could happen if students and young learners felt that they were self-directing their learning. And so what I'd like to propose is a program that is called Do Your Homework and Win. I work with children as well as adults, but the children I work with in sports psychology are always overwhelmed with their tasks and all the different things that they have to juggle in their daily life, so they don't need any more learning that's going to be a burden on them. So what I propose is a very simple 10-week series, and the most they have to do is watch a video for between 2 to 5 minutes, and then they do their homework. And the homework is the practice. The practice is what's going to help them form their own inner determination and their own inner values. And they will be applying their homework existentially. So that practice is going to take place every week in between each session. This is going to benefit the kids, which in turn is going to make the parents happy, help the kids do better in their sports, in their teams, their school, everything that they get involved with. So I'd like to ask for some coaching to get this program started, which would probably require about 10 hours of coaching, which I think it was going to take me about 10 hours to create and administer the program, and a little bit of advice on using equipment properly, and maybe scaling this program up to some larger entities rather than one person to one, so that while the kids are getting this little inexpensive training, they also can become familiar with me. I grow my credibility with them that way, and they get to travel, they get to taste the product before they buy it. So I would like to get that started with your help.
Thank you. All
Thank
right. You know, I think one of the key things to think about is that all of these companies are in different stages. And one of the mistakes that we make is we don't eliminate or describe or analyze where we're at. And I thought Anna did a great job of, letting me know right up front that this is an early stage idea, right? And with this idea, this is the type of help that I need, and here's the possibilities, probability, and perspective that I have today, but I'm open. I'm open, and I think a lot of times I'll get people that are pitching that are closed-minded, and I have an old saying that it takes as much energy to change somebody's ideas or practices with a closed mind as it does to help change or a practice of 1,000 minds. And so I'm always looking for someone with an open mind, someone who is vulnerable in the sense that they don't know what they don't know, that they're seeking mentorship or help. And that is, a lot of times, part of the pitch. If you get an audience, whether it's a pitch competition like 2-minute drill, or you're just blessed to have relationship capital with a huge VC, take the opportunity, even if you know you're too early, just to illuminate where you're at with your idea, what stage you're at. And I thought Anna did a great job of her ask, right? Making it specific to 10 hours of coaching in order to effectuate this. I think one of the areas where she got a little bit too far is just talking about the branding side, right? So it's hard for an investor, or channel partner, or a mentor to really, grab onto. Here you are at the very beginning asking for 10 hours of coaching to kind of solidify how the business works, maybe get some ideas how to scale it, but then make the big leap of, okay, after we scale it, what I really want to do is brand myself so that I can have an entire platform in which to teach this consistent, persistent behavior. And so, Anna, there's so much that was good about that, and I think, it's a great lesson to take away from that. And there's a boy Gary on my left shoulder there. It's more important to make sure that we stay within the realm and focus in on that one specific ask, because we do lose credibility if we go too far and start saying this, and this. Oh yeah, and by the way, I want to be as big as Gary Vee in the end. I think besides that, the ask is aligned with what you were describing. Very clearly, you made it known that this is a good idea, which you have great experience at, and what help you need. I think it was really well done, and appreciate the 2 minutes that you gave us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Anna. Perfect. All right. Last but not least, here we go. Number 10. This may look easy. It's because of the virtual environment that they're making this look so easy. I'm telling you, I was bragging to everybody earlier about, God, I love pitch competitions because there's really no preparation, right? I'm just going off of what I know. It's when I do those normal Friday trainings and have to do research and prepare and have notes and do all the things you were doing. I was wrong. This is not as easy as it looks, but we're loving it, and Clarity Experience is making it way easier for me and making it look super cool. Almost as cool as Gary Vee there. Don't justify your dreams, execute them. Speaking of executing on your dreams, Jason, welcome to the 2-minute drill.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to pitch. You start when I give you that pointer as an indicator, okay?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Get started with your 2-minute drill, Jason.
Hello, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Jason Cavness. I'm an INFJ, retired U.S. Army officer. I have previous dog experience. I have 30 years of HR experience. I'm now the CEO and founder of Cavness HR. At Cavness HR, we deliver HR to companies with 49 or fewer people. According to the SBA, there's 5 million companies in the U.S. with 49 or fewer people, and most of them don't have HR. An internal HR hire like myself can be $50,000 or more per year plus benefits, and HR consultants who we want to put out of business, overcharging price and deliver on value. Neither option is working for small business. Because of this, small business owners are losing $27 billion per year because of bad HR, which comes out to around $10,000 per small business employee. On average, small business owners are spending 25% of the time in HR. Time better spent taking care of employees, their customers, and building their business. At Cavness HR, we're going to solve this by providing a voice-enabled AI platform and access to a dedicated HR business based on the location and history of our customers. At Cavness HR, we've done a great job of building up a community around Cavness HR, as we have over 40,000 followers across various social media platforms. Although we're nowhere near David's level yet, our podcast is getting 1,500 downloads per episode, and 35 of our guests have agreed to be brand ambassadors for us. We recently closed a deal with Coven's Working Space out of Richmond, California Bay Area, where the 90 companies are going to become potential customers for us. Also, we've been accepting several startup programs to include New York University Future Lab in New York City, actually out of Brooklyn, and they're going to give us 1 year free office space and 1 year free housing for 1 year and access to various New York City VCs. Winning this contest with a great value add for Cavness HR. Thank you for your time. Cavness HR, focus on your business. We've got your HR.
Right on. All right, a few things, subtlety. First of all, very good pitch. You could tell, well practiced, right? And it utilized all the time. Went through the credibility, personal and business credibility, as well as anyone, right? The programs they've been accepted to, the awards, all of that, right? By saying that the programs, by the way, not everybody has this to say, but I've had pitches where people don't. When he gets into the free housing and the free office space, right? I now leverage all the things he can't say by saying someone else has vetted this. Somebody else has vetted it to the point where they're making an investment in Jason, in his company. The idea was explained very effectively in a quantitative manner. So if you're gonna go back and watch this replay, listen to how he quantifies the value of HR, which could be a subjective thing. Talking about individual employees and the losses, the resources, etc. I thought that was excellent. Where we can use some improvement, Jason, one of the things that most people wouldn't notice, but when we're practicing, which you obviously did, go ahead and look within the format that you are. If you're going to be on video, if you're going to be on stage, use a mirror, videotape yourself, look in Zoom and effectively, because from my perception, right, I would not wear an orange shirt, right? What you're wearing actually looks as if I was like, oh my God, is he in a prison cell? Is that a prison jumpsuit? And it might seem subtle, right? But if you're in a pitch competition, an accelerator competition, if you're in front of Sequoia or a VC in Sand Hill Road, and now we have to do this virtually, you want to make sure that utilizing a controlled environment like the Clarity Experience thing I'm doing is making me look better, right? Not getting questions about whoa, what's going on. I do, obviously I know where you're at and what you're doing, But I think it's a good lesson for people to learn, is not only practice the pitch, but practice what we look at, learn the environment, learn how to utilize what we're using as a platform. The same way I'm learning here with Clarity in providing the pitch show in a professional manner, just as big as my TV show. And so I thought, utilizing that pitch in that direction. The last thing, real quickly, is the ask. The only thing I was disappointed in, one of the best pitches I've heard, I'm such a quantitative person, I thought for sure at the end you're going to say, okay, Dave, this is what I want for how much, or this is what I want coaching, or this is. I'm a little bit lost on the ask, and a little disappointed I didn't get an ask, because I'm very, very interested in what you're doing. Please go back and watch this though, because it is such a great explanation or pitch on the quantitative analysis, which is so difficult. It's so hard to take the ethereal and subjective and give it true numbers like you did. And so I congratulate you on that, Jason, and appreciate you taking your 2 minutes with us today. Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Good job. Awesome. All right, I did it. What a great competition. What an eclectic group. 10 really good pitches. I know we have to be constructive to help everyone to learn the lessons of these pitches so that we all get better, so that we get statistically better, we get what we want from our journeys, from the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. This is the best environment. I'm hoping I get to do this again on August 28th in this environment. We're only going to get better, but imagine, this is all virtual, and it's like a professional TV show. One of the other things that I want to talk about in this environment, as you can see, is you actually can do sponsors, right? You can do video explanations, like text me at 949-298-2905, Working Stiff, Vivint Solar. Look at all this real estate that I can use now in order to effectuate donations to charity, raising in purpose, giving more explanation, cheating on what I'm doing with all types of screens so that I look like I've memorized all this stuff, but it's just written on a 6-foot string in front of me, whatever it would be. Look at all that you can do, and I think it's really important to see the added benefits of what we do. Now, what I'd like to do is show a short video about how all this happens. I'm going to come back with Brian Lagaste from Clarity Experiences to answer the Q&A that you have about the production, and most importantly, to announce the winners. Let's roll that video.
As the event space evolves, Clarity Experiences remains your top choice to elevate your event and create lasting memories. With the recent shift away from large in-person meetings and into a more live streaming format, we have seen a surge in demand for virtual services. But not all virtual services are equal, and not all approaches are right for you. Luckily, Clarity Experiences has been doing virtual events for many years and has extensive experience in the real world. We have identified the best approaches to make the registration process quick and painless, support participation and engagement from all over the world, and elevate your production value with clear messaging and branding opportunities, setting your event apart from the rest. While we still feel face-to-face communication is the most effective way to connect and trade ideas, virtual conferences, when executed properly, serve as the best alternative to live events, and we at Clarity Experiences can help.
Dave, welcome back.
That's awesome.
You made it back just in time. Must have been a tough deliberation there.
Yeah, off backstage getting all of the winners. So I thought we'd answer a few questions though before we get to those winners, and maybe describe on what we were doing here and how we did it. Because I would tell you, as a performer, someone who speaks every single day and now virtually, I want to move in. That's all I got to say. It's incredible. There's so much I can do here.
Well, we love it here. We love all the capabilities that we have and the ability to really engage with the audience and make the event a little bit more impactful. All of you at home, be able to watch something that's a little bit more engaging. That's really what we're trying to do here, just enhance and add value to what everybody is doing in the world with some of the nuances that everybody has to work on right now. So.
Yeah, I think, the emotional connection when you're involved, not just with a floating head, is a lot different. And I think hopefully, especially someone who tries to deal with aspirational, inspirational content and educational, that it's conveyed better and more clear, because it's always not what I say, it's how I say it, and it's not what I say, it's what they hear. And I think this methodology allows them to hear what I'm trying to convey.
yeah, there's so much more when you have the body language and you have the environment, when you deliver that face to face with them. If you're in person, they can feel all that. A lot of times in our current environment where you're trying to do that in a small screen or just with a headshot, it's hard to see, all those different cues and really connect with either the audience or have the audience connect with you. And one of the things that, the purpose of us doing this with you today is really to enhance that and give the audience that ability to experience something a little bit different, a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more impactful, a little bit more energy. That's part of what our goal is at Clarity, is really to help provide that to the whole world in regards to how can they meet together better, how can their experiences be remarkable. Those are the types of things that we're looking to do. And I think you did that today. I mean, seeing the reaction from the attendees and seeing the kind of the competitors really be prepared and deliver some great, really pitches. I'm so excited to get to the winners here in a little bit, but it was just a great connection that we were able to see, and I hope they all enjoyed it too in the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's take a couple questions from the audience. Looking at the first one, it says, what specific things need to be in your ask? And I think that's a really good question, because where everyone could get better is the ask. And obviously it's one of the 5 things that I teach people beyond inventory of values, do your calendar, do it now, practice again in fear. People have problems asking. And you can't even imagine, it doesn't even make common sense to me that you would go to a pitch competition and not have an ask.
Yeah, what are they there for, right?
Yeah, and so what specific things you need in your ask are, number 1, what do you want? So once again, take inventory of those values, and I think you realize from the different stages in different industries and different pitches, even just with 10, that the asks range from $300,000 all the way down to introductions. Or advice, connections, whatever. And so be very specific, but you will not get unless you ask. And I would write those out very specifically, beginning, middle, and end, and make sure you cover them at least once.
And you learn a lot when you investigate within yourself what your ask is. You learn what you have and what you need. Like the one gentleman had office space. He had some pieces already to the puzzle, and so his ask might be different than somebody else's. And so you learn a lot about what you already have and what you may need when you go through that exercise.
Yeah, and I'd like to set, I prefer it up front because it allows me to have a framework. If you're doing a minute or a 2-minute drill, it allows me to have a framework of, okay, here's the ask. Now what he's talking about is all relative back to, all he's asking for is introductions. Now I get it. Whereas like over here, I'm thinking it's $3 million. I'm like, I'm not listening to this. Right. So it's a matter of credibility.
Yeah, context.
Second one, how do you look at the valuation of your own companies when pitching? Whatever the math supports. I know people don't get this at all, but for me, a valuation is like a price. People say, well, what's your car worth? What somebody will pay for it. Yeah. Right? What's the valuation of a company? What somebody will believe when I ask, hey, give me $1 million, can you see any reason why you wouldn't want to? If I can support that with the quantitative reasons, impacts, and capability, complement it with emotional attachment and my credibility, I can ask whatever I want, and that's the valuation. You and I both lived through several different economic turns, up and down, and the valuations of some companies, especially in the .com era, were incredible.
They were amazing.
But they got it
they did.
From very educated people.
And sometimes it worked out, And I think when you look at the valuation, as an entrepreneur, you have a lot of value that you believe it's worth, right? But an investor early on is a little bit hesitant. And so that timing of that ask is important too, is what stage are you in the process to substantiate that value?
And I think getting mentorship in that area is so important too, because there's vehicles that allow you to have the subjectivity of the valuation. So convertible debentures, safe notes, other types of structuring of deals that don't necessarily require you to say my company is worth this today.
Yeah, or give up all necessarily the equity at that point in time as well.
Which is crucial because I've had people that I've consulted with that have worked years and years, raised $40, $50 million just to find out they didn't structure it correctly, and ended up getting kicked off their own company, owning both family and friends, zero, because they structured the deal wrong, and they needed the money in order to keep the company in business.
That's why you ask for help, right?
Exactly.
Always ask for help. Let's grab another one of the questions here.
What are the 3 key things you look for in an entrepreneur and opportunities? I look for really 4 things in an entrepreneur. I look for one, their perspective is gracious, meaning are they the type of person that's looking for the lesson, looking for the glass to be half full or over full, Are they looking for the commonality, or what I call the love in the deal? Two, forgiveness. Believe it or not, I think forgiveness is a means by which we unwind untruths that scare people. And sometimes deals grow arms and legs. You and I are both entrepreneurs, and we probably stayed up at night too many nights about things that never happened. And so we learned to use forgiveness. It's helpful. Accountability is a huge one. I'll always ask, what's the worst thing that someone's ever done to you, and what you do about it? And if they go to blame, shame, and justification, not my entrepreneur. And two, this is the main common denominator. This is why companies succeed. Does this entrepreneur have the backbone of they must be what they can? Like, you're an entrepreneur who I would invest in, because through this COVID, through the uncertainty, you've transformed one of the biggest event planning and production companies in the world, around the world, and on a dime switched it to the most innovative virtual experience, from big companies down to small and individual speakers. And so you have this ability that you must be what you can be. And so I try to determine that.
You need to have that within their personality, within their drive. I think the other thing, kind of switching back to the event environment, is, and I think you touched on it during the competition, is about sponsorship. And there's in the normal event world, there's a lot of investment that goes into the sponsors of different events, and them being able to get their name or their brand or their product out into the market. And in this new environment, we're struggling with how do we really engage with sponsorships, and how do we bring that into our event? And one of the things that we can do at Clarity, and with any company that's doing virtual type events, is you can bring, like you did in yours, you can bring those sponsors into different real estate that's in the virtual environment. And you can get their brand and their name out. You can even run short videos about them. And then if you kind of enhance that and expand that to, if you were attending an event, you would go to an event landing page, and you would be able to look at your sponsors either in an exhibit environment or in a separate area. And then that would allow that sponsor to have real estate at your conference or at your event virtually. And then they can have one-on-one appointments, they can then sponsor your event, and you can bring some of the dollars back into the equation, because the dollars help us give the message to the audience. And without the sponsors, we can't afford to deliver that message. And so we have to find a way to bring that sponsorship back into the overall equation, both for the sponsors themselves, but also for the value that they bring, which is the money to fund the message. So sponsorship is so important.
And you guys even have virtual exhibits, which I found out today. I was like, so you could actually, most people, when I do a keynote, they have a certain period of time where their vendors come in, not only as sponsors, and this is how they generate more revenue for any of the big franchises, any of the big Fortune 500 companies, down to mid-size and mid-market companies. It's a profit center for them.
Absolutely.
And you've reborn the profit center. But of course, one of the other areas that I find is the ability to have a better performance and the efficiencies. Like, I now can speak around the world. I mean, even for this, there's thousands and thousands of people. I spent more money for the old school Dave Meltzer trainings that I did at my office over there, because I bought lunch for everybody. All my whole team had to come down, get all these different things. I now literally will reach thousands and thousands of people for less money than it costs to pay for lunch for everybody in my office for the old school trainings.
Things are changing, right? And you have to adapt, and you have to change. You have to find a way to do that. That time savings can be amazing, and it can be for both for the attendees and for the speakers and for the team, really being able to do so many things in a day. I see you, I watch you a lot. You and I cross paths all the time, and you're always doing a lot of different things every single day. And that use of your time, you're used to have to be traveling, it would suck up a lot of that time. In today's environment, though it is tough, we actually can adapt and change and really find better ways to do things that are more efficient, more productive. And I challenge all the entrepreneurs to think that way and think, how can they use their time? I mean, one of the things, you had a lot of your mentors in the statements up. For me, time is one of the most valuable resources that we all have, and how we spend it makes such a difference in our lives and also in our business success. And I think that's something that we can all learn, is look at your time and how you're spending it. If you can really make that efficient, you can produce a lot of value for yourself and for your family and for those you love.
Absolutely. Well, so we got a couple more questions here. What's a good way to end an elevator pitch if you're not asking for money? I have it standard at, can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? Right? So from either what you've told me or what I've learned, can you see any reason why you won't want to move forward, and reiterate the ask? So if you start with the ask, go through credibility, emotional attachment, quantify reasons, impacts, capability, and end with, can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? It's just this nice, subtle, easy way that just begs for, no, I can't. Let's do this.
Let's do it, yeah.
Right, and move forward. So
and they feel like that they need to engage. So that step forward is great. One of the other questions we're having is really about the technology and really how we make all this happen, right? So we'll talk a little bit about our capabilities and kind of a behind the scenes look at what we've done here. So we do have a video of some B-roll that we've done at some of our events where we'll show you a little bit about what happens here. So while you're in an environment and you see our stage here, what you'll see on the screen is you'll see some of the background. So you have a few cameras. It's not a large footprint. The stage is, a moderate size. You have a control room, and in the control room is really where all the magic happens. And I like to say, it's not about the software. It's really always about the people. It's about the engineers that work on that software and that make such a difference. And so at Clarity, how we bring these events to life is we have a team of exceptional experts, and they really know how to make sure all this technology works together. We can do that here in our studio in California, but we also can take the studio, it's all mobile, and we do it all over the US. So if you have an event you're trying to produce and you need this type of experience, we could do that from your home, from your local office, from your corporate headquarters, or even as hotels come back online, we can bring this type of environment there to the hotels. So while it looks, pretty impressive, right? And it actually, it's something that we can do, in a very simple way. Just hitting some of the other green screen, or the technologies for those of you that are curious. It is a green screen environment. We can also do a real live stage environment here, and there's a certain different capabilities that you get with each of those different technologies. But overall, it's really about the people, and we also talk about the purpose. So when we would talk with you about your idea, your event, we would say, what is your goal? Are you looking to talk to 10 people every 2 minutes, right? That's a different goal than are you trying to reach 1,000 people and you're going to give a keynote, right? Those are two very different purposes of your event. And so we work with you on that. We listen to that purpose, and then we design the technology around your purpose so that it can be delivered for your audience. So those are some of the things about the technology. And the really thing that we love about it is it does create enthusiasm. It creates excitement, which we're going to build up here towards in a few minutes because we're going to get to the winners. But we just wanted to share a little bit about really how this came together. So Dave and his team, they gave us some inspirational ideas about what was important to you. And what we did is we took that, and our designers built that in a 3D environment. And that's the stage that you see, the kind of the blue lines and the brick. And we kind of listened and we learned. And then we took some of the people who were important, in your life as far as your mentors, and we took those and we built those into the background so that as you were giving your discussions, they would always be there kind of supporting you in your goals. And so we did that, in conjunction with David's team, and we listened to what, they wanted it to look like and feel like, and then our designers built that, and that's how we came up with this virtual environment that we prepared today.
Yeah, it's awesome. The only negative I can see about the whole experience was I actually have to get dressed up again. No more shorts, exactly. No more shorts. But anyway, I am just so excited and grateful for the opportunity to use Clarity Experience. Obviously, it's enhanced the pitch competition. Hopefully, it'll enhance some of the trainings as well. I know I did a keynote this morning here, which was also incredible. One of the other things, just real quick before I announce these three winners, just the mere fact that you know who you're talking to. When I'm doing so many things during the day, and there's 200 people at a speech, and you get a question and they're searching for the person, and even though you can't control the internet connection on who you're talking to, and that happened with John, it's still much better. Like, you could easily switch notice to a new person, switch back, etc. And if you look at the late night shows, like I was watching Bill Maher, and they had Jim Carvell, I think his name is, the famous political guy. He was in Louisiana and he had like a thunderstorm. He had to go inside. Things are going to happen, but if they're going to happen, I love this environment of how it reacts and adapts. So thank you so much for having this opportunity. All right, we are now going to announce the three winners. The third place first. Third place is going to get my content, personally signed books, the perfect pitch exercise, and a review session of that with me. And so as we aggregate up, the second place one will also get the third place award, and the first place one will get the whole package.
Nice.
Right. All right, we're going to start.
I'm gonna pitch next time.
Please do. I'm a big fan. I will invest in the Clarity Experience, no problem. All right, third place goes to Jeff Mosini. Thank you so much, Jeff. And that's the Slope Master. We appreciate you. We'll get you the book signed to who you want them signed, and get the perfect pitch guide from me, and a session to go over the guide so that you and I can work on that pitch together. and see what other relationship capital I can help with. As always, I'm of service. Second place, Jason Cavness with the HR Solution. You're going to get our private coaching group and the stuff that Jeff got as well. We got a whole bunch of J's all the time. But thank you and congratulations, Jason. And the winner is Albert Navarro. Unbelievable solution there with the biometric security company. Thank you so much. You're going to get one-on-one coaching with me and the private group and the content, etc. as we work down. Remember, the next competition is going to be August 28th. If I beg Brian, hopefully we can do it here and do it better even. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did. Please text me at 949-298-2905 to register for the free trainings, for the next pitch competition, free books, whatever you need, and also david@dmeltzer.com. I want to thank Brian Lagaste here, CEO of Clarity Experience. This is Dave Meltzer, and remember, be kind to your future self and do good deeds.
Let me know when we're clear. We also get some music about that. Awesome. Let me know when we're clear. Mics are good. You're clear.
Fantastic.
Good.
Great job.
Awesome. Thank you. Yep.